Welcome. In front of me I have the relatively brand new MacBook Air from 2023, beginning of this year, and I'll go over unboxing along with just a quick look at this device. Now that being said, last time I actually had a MacBook of any sorts in my hands was, I think, back in 2014 with a MacBook Pro. So this might be a little bit of a new experience for me again. Anyway, let's get straight into it. Now, the model that I have right here is the A2941. For those that are interested, it's a 15-inch version. Always love those little pull tabs. So nothing in here. I'll get the massive computer right here. It is a 15-inch, so it's not necessarily the smallest size. Then we actually get a nice braided cable. It's a Type-C to mag charge, or mag whatever. These are really nice to see. Again, I know that Apple did drop the magnetic chargers a couple generations ago, and it looks like they brought it back. That is fantastic. Those are always really nice, so you don't yank the freaking cable if you, I don't know, charge your laptop and I don't know, on your couch and you walk by, forgetting about it. So this will just kind of pop it off, no problem, no hassle. So yeah, that's pretty nice. And surprisingly enough, we also have a charger. Look at that. And surprisingly enough, it also accommodates for two different Type-C ports. You can charge your phone and your laptop. Now, in terms of the speed of this, we are looking at a 35 watts. Well, that's just disappointing. So that is pretty slow charger for what I would have expected in the size and all. Anyway, so it looks like that's all we have in here. Massive box, a lot of paper wasted right here for relatively nothing else. So yeah, there's still some space under it. Let's just heat that to the side and get a look at the device. Let's try not to scratch it right away. It does look really clean, I have to admit. Would have been nice to actually have a secondary camera, but oh well. Mistakes were made. Now this is one of those devices that has a notch. I see that Apple really loves their notches, considering they're even adding them to their computer screens. Now, to be completely honest, this tiny little camera that is right here, can possibly see, could have been shifted higher up and most likely remove the freaking bezel from here, but it's Apple, so obviously you get a bezel. Soon enough they will be calling it an island. Anyway. Well, that being said, let's quickly go into the specs. So the version that I have right here has 8 GB of RAM. It's an, 8-core CPU, 10-core GPU. Now, I'm not exactly sure since when are we counting GPU in cores. I thought that we're counting it in teraflops, but again, it's Apple, so it's not like they ever cared about standards. Now, interestingly enough, this is then 8 GB of RAM, and this is basically what the base model comes with. But you have an option to upgrade it to 16 or 24. So technically it has there's 8 gigs baked into the device itself, and then you have expandable with double 8 gig sticks up to 16 additional, and then adding the 16 plus the 8 goes to 24 max that you can have. But that being said, you won't be ever able to upgrade it yourself. This is something that you have to pre-purchase for ludicrously high price. Now, that being said, I have no idea what RAM type we have here, so it could be DDR5. At that point, it would be okay. $400 US, it's still on the expensive side for 16 gigs. Actually, quite expensive. but it would be in the realm of reasonable, I would argue. But if it's DDR4, heck no, that's you're getting completely ripped off here, and I guess that's the kind of thing that you'd expect from Apple anyway. Now, that being said, I don't think Apple did put DDR5s in here. I could be wrong. I can't find the info of what the RAM type here is, which is obviously always very nice to see. Lack of information, so yeah. Now, in terms of the display right here, we have the Retina display, and it does look really nice. It is an IPS LCD
To use English as the main language, press the return key.
No. So yeah, it is a Retina display right here. It looks really nice, LCD IPS, but it is pretty bright, vibrant, and it looks really good. And even though I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of Apple as a company, I do like their devices, not for the specs, but for the quality of them. So in terms of the display, it looks fantastic, and I cannot dispute that. The only thing that triggers me is this freaking notch right there. That just hurts. So yeah, other than that, the device is really light, something that I want to mention. So even though it is a 15-inch device, it is really light for the size of it. And because it is using an ARM processor in here, which I presume will be one of those M2s or whatever they're using right now, which again I couldn't really find info about it because it says it has a 8-core CPU and 10-core GPU, and go figure what it is, instead of, I don't know, telling you that it's using, I don't know, M2 Max or whatever the heck they have. So okay, yeah, processor I found on some sketchy website, it says it's M2. So yeah, so because of this, the device will be really power efficient. It is ARM, so really nice. Also, it won't be getting as hot, therefore it won't need as much cooling. And as far as I'm aware, this device has no actual like active cooling. I don't see or hear any fans in here. Typically you would have some kind of perforations anywhere around here. The only perforations you have are in this area right here, which now are a little bit hard to see. Let's see if we can open it up to see. Nope. Which, okay, you won't be able to see it probably, but basically you can see at an angle some of them right here, here, and here. Now these might be just speaker grills, completely honest. So yeah. Now, anyway, with that being said, a couple additional things. We do have the typical keyboard right here that you are expecting from Apple. We have a fingerprint sensor that doubles as a power button. It is a clicky one, so you can click it. You can scan your finger. We have a massive trackpad. Just as a comparison, this is a Fold 4. This almost takes... It's nearly the size of a Fold. Fold is a little bit taller, so, but in terms of like comparing it to a default phone, this thing will be bigger than a phone. So it is a massive trackpad, as you can probably see. So yeah, pretty nice. I always like the idea of this massive trackpad, especially with the gestures that they have, because you have the gestures for navigating to your device. So this makes it a lot easier, giving you a huge amount of room to deal with gestures and just navigating to your display. So there we go, and I don't think there's much more to say. One notable thing that I kind of want to add, recently Apple had their WWDC, and there they obviously announced a bunch of new things, and one of them is their new Mac OS, I think it was called Simona, that obviously will be an upgrade to this device. Quite possibly, I can probably already install it. If not officially, then probably as a beta. So that is something that I might look into just to see how that performs. Not many changes that they have added into that Simona update, but they did or focus primarily on like widgets for some reason, on everything. So I'm kind of curious to see how these work between the devices, because another thing that they basically focused on is more cohesion, probably would be the word, just basically making all the devices work together, including the widgets. So you have a widget on your watch, it will appear on your laptop. And anyway, so yeah, that's about it. In terms of looks, this device looks fantastic. It is a little bit too big for what I would like, but obviously for just using this as your main device, I think this probably would be a perfect size, giving you 15 inches of display real estate and a massive trackpad. It's a very nice machine, I would say. And one thing that probably, if you come from any kind of Windows-based laptop or computer, there's one definite thing that you will notice here, which is the absolute silence of this device. So just opening it up, I'm gonna move it to the microphone. Hear that? No? That's right, because there's nothing to hear. This device is just fully silent. There is not a single fan, any kind of whine or anything coming from this laptop. It's dead silent. Pretty nice. So, anyway, with that being said, if you found this very helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.